Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 25th of November, comes to you from London. And I've just started looking at COVID cases in Europe. Austria and Netherlands is well known, of course. Germany now passing the UK for a number of cases quite clearly. And this is smooth data, so Germany's daily cases have been ahead of the UK for a little while now. And France starting to creep up quite quickly as well. Italy's this green line, and I'm slightly concerned because I'm going to be speaking at a conference in Milan next week, so I'm just watching that with interest. But this is something that could potentially weigh on markets, of course. Taking a look at the markets themselves, we've got the dollar index pushing higher, third good week in a row. That dollar strength really showing through there on the daily chart and the short term trend up the hill. This is my weekly, daily and 60-minute charts, so long-term, medium-term and short-term view of the market with the corresponding point and figure targets. That euro trend continues, the euro lower, again 3 bad weeks, back below the cloud. These downside targets starting to come into play, not looking good for the euro. And against the yen, we're at 115.35. That's quite a big performance this week for the dollar against the yen, seeing that candle then. And again, we're breaking higher here as well. Upside target some 9% higher. Sterling sitting at 133.32. Again, this trend is lower, so we are looking to these downside targets for sterling as well. We've got 1 to 128 in the medium term. Sterling back below 130 is quite conceivable, and against the euro, sterling just below that 119 level. Had a very strong week last week, but the fact is we did break to new highs, so sterling has the upper hand there. Against the Aussie dollar, actually, sterling also just was at 190 at one stage, but falling away, been flat the last few days. Bitcoin sitting at $57,000, just holding these mid-50s. We've got this downside target that has been given on the 1% chart, but that 83,000 level is still much on train. Remembering we need these pullbacks in order to generate new upside targets. The S&P 500 index it's down. It was up yesterday and up 0.25%, and the futures this morning up another 0.33%. So US markets edging higher, back into short-term bullish territory. So we've got targets some 6% higher to play for there, and the Nasdaq also edging higher as well, and the futures up 0.4%. The FTSE future is up 0.13%. The DAX in Germany is up 0.33%. The CAC 40 also up 0.33%. So we are seeing European markets edging higher today. Of course, it's Thanksgiving in the US, and so we do expect today and tomorrow markets to be fairly quiet. If we take a look at the Japanese market, we are up 0.33% there. China was down 0.25%, so we are just seeing a little bit of a pullback there, but still looking bullish on all 3 time frames as well, with quite strong upside targets despite everything you hear about Chinese equities. Sensex up 0.8%, that's quite a strong showing there overnight, and the Aussie market only up 0.1%. We will look at the energy mix in a minute, but just looking at some of the soft commodities, coffee up 0.8%, that's really rocketing. That's really quite strong. Sugar actually down 1%, but again, these upside targets are very compelling on the long-term chart. And wheat and corn, we don't have any price updates at the moment. Gold sitting at 1792, so really just struggling to hold that $1,800 level again. Real seesaw there for gold. These downside targets not yet activated, so we're just going to wait and see. We do have 2 upside targets activated there. Silver sitting at 23.60 again, has had not a very good week. Looking at US 10-year yields, 1.64%. So we're pulling back a little bit, but those targets now activated, as we've said, so that's quite key. Looking at the energy mix this morning, we've got Brent Crude just sitting very flat. We're on this little range here. We have called it for clients this morning, and WTI as well. US nat gas down 0.5%, but back above that 5 level, which is quite key. So looking quite strong again there, and back above on the 60-minute chart with some good upside targets there to play for too. Coal sitting sitting at 132, so it's had a really strong week this week, coal, pushing higher. So that's looking very much like finding cloud support there. So really quite interesting to watch that. Emissions are down this morning. Again, we made a call out for clients, and gas markets are also lower. NBP down 3% and TTF down by the similar amount. So just hitting some cloud resistance here on the lagging line. Quite interesting to watch that. Looking at German power, did break to a new high, so that's looking quite strong there, and we've got upside targets there to play for as well. Keep an eye on your OTC data. And Nordic power, we remain bullish here. We've got a new target that's kicked in on Nordic power, so that looks pretty strong as well, and a pretty nice uptrend. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.